Hi, today we'll learn about polymorphism and interfaces. We'll do the review on polymorphism and interfaces. So we'll start with polymorphic reference can refer to different types of objects over time. The binding of a method invocation to its definition happens at runtime for a polymorphic reference. A reference variable can reference any object formed from any class in relation to it by inheritance. The type of object, not the type of the reference, ascertains which version of the method is invoked. An interface is a collection of abstract methods and/or constants, and thus cannot be instantiated. Inheritance can be applied to interfaces in which an interface can be derived from another interface. An interface name can be utilized to declare an object reference variable. An interface reference can point to any object of any class that implements that interface. A parameter to a method can be polymorphic. Binding. So these are the definitions. So binding, the process of determining which method definition is used to fulfill a given method invocation. Dynamic binding, the binding of a method invocation. Dynamic binding. Okay, dynamic binding. The binding of a method invocation to its definition at runtime, also called late binding. Interface, a collection of abstract methods and constants utilized to define a set of operations that can be utilized to interact with an object. Interface hierarchy, the hierarchy created when interfaces are derived from other interfaces. Polymorphism, the power to define an object that has more than one meaning by having the operation dynamically bound to methods of various objects. Polymorphic reference, a reference variable that can refer to different types of objects at different points in time. What is polymorphism? Polymorphism is defined as having many forms. It is when an object reference variable can refer to various types of objects at various points in time. Polymorphism is the power of a reference variable to refer to objects of different types at varying times. A method invoked from such a reference is binded to different method definitions at different times, which depends on the type of the object referred to. How does inheritance support polymorphism? In Java, a reference variable declared utilizing a superclass can be utilized to reference an object of the subclass. If both classes contain a method with the same signature, the super reference variable, can be polymorphic. How is overriding related to polymorphism? When a subclass overrides the definition of a super's method, dual versions of that method are existent. If a polymorphic reference is utilized to call the method, the version of that method that is called is ascertained by the type of the object being referenced to, not from the type of the reference variable. Why is the member class of the company example professed as abstract? So that's from the polymorphic inheritance example that we did with the 7 different classes of, like, the member is the abstract class, and then there's like company, CEO, college volunteer and stuff. Just have a look in the videos if you're looking for that one. So Why is the member class in the company example professed as abstract? The member class is abstract because it is not supposed to be instantiated. It functions as a generic class in the inheritance hierarchy to derive common characteristics among all members, and also allows for polymorphism. Why is the pay method declared in the member class? Granted that it is abstract and has no body at that level. The pay method has no significance at the member level, so it is professed abstract. But by declaring it there, we assure that every object of its children has a pay method. This allows us to define an array of member objects, which contains different types of members, and to pay each one polymorphically. Each method is unique to the other and is overridden in each member that inherits and extends the member class, which allows it to be paid polymorphically. What is the difference between a class and an interface? A class can be instantiated. An interface cannot be instantiated. An interface contains solely abstract methods and constants. A class supplies the implementation for an interface. How do class hierarchies and interface hierarchies overlap? They do not overlap. A class can be utilized to derive a class, and an interface can be utilized to derive an interface. But these two types of hierarchies do not overlap. Describe the comparable interface. The comparable interface has one method called compareTo, which returns an integer that is less than 0, equal to 0, or greater than 0 if the executing object is less than, equal to, or greater than the object which is being compared. How can polymorphism be realized utilizing interfaces? An interface name can be utilized as a type of a reference variable an interface name can be utilized as a type of a reference variable. Such a reference variable can reference each object of any class that implements that interface. Because all classes implement the identical interface, they have methods with similar signatures which can be dynamically bounded or called all with a different form of the method. So that wraps up the polymorphism and interfaces review, and now we'll be moving on to exceptions and input and output streams. Thanks.